Hallelujah, everybody.
Hello, all of you KZOOMers. Some of you who I spent a week on retreat with last week. There's a few new faces that we want to welcome. And so happy to be together in practice. You know that acronym INFAR is what we bring to our chant. Intensity, novelty, focus, awareness, repetition.
All right, between the two of us, we got it.
INFAR. But I wanna just focus in on awareness at this moment, because that's I once had read this book about awareness. It was kind of like one of those non-dual writers, it was a whole book on awareness. And I decided to do a little experiment. And instead of the word awareness, I inserted God wherever it said awareness. And it totally worked. So to think about God as awareness, and God in us as awareness, and how wherever we are, awareness makes all the difference. And particularly the awareness of the state of mind that we're in. And really working with our state. So a state of mind is it's different than a mood. It's different than a feeling. It's like having a particular factory inside the brain that is creating certain kinds of thoughts, and whatever mind state you're in, that's what kind of factory it is, So it's a factory that's creating content for the mind, but it's not the content itself. It's the factory that's creating it, and so it's a certain configuration of mind that gives rise to certain kinds of thoughts, certain kinds of feelings, and it is, that factory is kind of relentless, and it sometimes just needs to go offline. We need to send all of those workers home.
Send them home.
Send them
Go to
home.
sleep. Shut up.
And but the thing about the mind state you're in. The key is awareness, because you can't shut down that factory if you don't even know there's a factory creating those thoughts, So, when I saw that the curriculum of the Song of Songs of this week's Song of Songs Parsha has these lines, which I will give you from the song. It says, "Catch us, the foxes, the little foxes that raid our vineyard, just when the vines are in bloom." So that's the catch us, the foxes is about bringing awareness to particularly difficult mind states, and that's what the foxes are. So If the vineyard is the place of our love and the place where the power of prophecy is cultivated, then those pesky foxes are the doubts that creep into the mind just when I'm opening to some new insight or realization. If I catch myself right at the moment when the doubt is beginning to take hold, I can release that thought and return to nurture the fragile blossoming of wisdom. When I know I'm having a doubt attack, with this awareness I am catching the foxes. With this awareness I open in self-compassion, gently releasing the interrupting and destructive thoughts, and return to the vineyard, to the blossoming of love. So with this practice, I acknowledge the reality of foxes, and we all have different kind of foxes. I name them as doubts, fears, cynicism, distrust, worry that run through the mind, and resolve to catch them before they do too much damage. So can I then redirect my attention towards the blessings in my life. And so I want to just know that all of that, it's energy in the mind, and I want to find ways to work with it so that I don't become a victim of those mind states, and I can let them pass through and bring awareness to them. So you might just before we begin this practice, you might just sort of take a moment to sort of look inside your own mind to see, like, what are the most prevalent foxes that you might catch. And sometimes, like when I chant for a long time, it's like I'm clearing the vineyard. It's like I'm creating a kind of a spaciousness. But I get caught too. So I want to sort of know my own patterns, and so that I can be kind of vigilant about not being the victim of those foxes. So
Here we go.
here we go.
Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mekablim, keramim, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mekablim, keramim, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim. Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mekablim, keramim, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim. Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mekablim, keramim, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim. Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mekablim, keramim, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim. Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mekablim, keramim, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim. Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mekablim, keramim, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim. Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mekablim, keramim, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim. Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mekablim, keramim, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim. Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mekablim, keramim, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim. Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mekablim, keramim, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim. Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mekablim, keramim, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim. Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, mekablim, keramim, uchramaynu, smadar, Echezu-lanu, shu'alim. Echezu-lanu, shu'alim, shu'alim, kitanim, מקבלים כרמים uchramaynu smadar Echezu-lanu shu'alim Echezu-lanu shu'alim shu'alim kitanim מקבלים כרמים uchramaynu smadar Echezu-lanu shu'alim Echezu-lanu shu'alim shu'alim kitanim מקבלים כרמים uchramaynu smadar Echezu-lanu shu'alim Echezu-lanu shu'alim shu'alim kitanim מקבלים כרמים uchramaynu smadar Echezu-lanu shu'alim Echezu-lanu shu'alim shu'alim kitanim מקבלים כרמים uchramaynu smadar Echezu-lanu shu'alim Echezu-lanu shu'alim shu'alim kitanim מקבלים כרמים uchramaynu smadar Echezu-lanu shu'alim.
So I want to call up our awareness. And awareness is what interrupts the foxes and takes the charge out of a lot of patterns. So this summer I decided at the Kala to teach a class called Cultivating Spiritual Maturity. And I think I've maybe taught this over the years, but I just feel like I'm coming to a new understanding of what spiritual maturity is. And one of the main, important points of spiritual maturity has to do with taking responsibility for our own state, for our inner state, taking responsibility for our inner state. And the atmosphere inside us just determines so much of what we see, what our connection to resources are. Reb Zalman used to say that we're all pickles. And whatever kind of pickle juice you soak yourself in will determine what kind of pickle you will be. And so what you soak yourself in is the thoughts that occupy your mind. So what is it that occupies your mind? That's what you're soaking in. That's what's creating the pickle that you are. So so the way that Beverly Lanzetta says it is, since what we seek is within us, the main emphasis of all spiritual work is the refinement and strengthening of love through a process that dissolves the impediments of the ego. And she says that despite the many possible roads to travel, the paths all lead to the same ascent, one that will strip illusion from the mind through the releasing of doubt, judgment, cynicism, and despair. So it doesn't mean that those things don't arise. Oh no. What?
Can you all still
Can you
hear
see
us?
us? And see us? We're still here?
Are we still here? Wait a minute. Yeah. Go ahead and close that. Oh.
Yeah.
We can hear. Oh, now you're back. But we could hear you while the whiteboard was.
That was very strange.
Somebody from another dimension was coming to give us a message, but
it could be a message. But we closed it out.
we closed.
We'll still get the message.
I think it was the foxes.
Oh, there
it is.
They sneak in
They're
when
sneaky.
you least expect
They're
it.
sneaky.
That's right.
They're sneaky. So I was thinking, despite the many possible roads to travel, the paths all lead to the same ascent, one that will strip illusion from the mind through the releasing of doubt, judgment, cynicism, and despair. And so it's almost like she's saying, like, it's a given that those things arise in the mind. Those characters of doubt, judgment, cynicism, despair, those foxes arise in the mind. And it is through the releasing of that illusion is stripped away. So I want to do a practice that is, maybe kind of about, what we're doing with our state when it is a difficult state, and I call this calming the restless heart. And I translate these words as only towards God my soul turns in silent calm. And the other day I got up and I was looking at the news and like having like a little thing in my mind of like a little bit of like what kind of like what. And so I sat down in Ach Ayl and we're going to meditate, and that place in my mind was still going. Like, what? Are you kidding? It was in a turmoil. It was in a turmoil, and I thought, I thought, okay, how am I going to find my way? And what I did was I created a much larger space, and we're going to be talking about spaciousness as a strategy of working with difficult states, because sometimes it's like you can't erase that state, you can't make it go away, it's just doing its thing. But when we create this larger space around it, it almost seems to dissolve in that spaciousness, and it actually worked. The largeness of the space, which is the turning towards God. When I turn towards God, I'm turning towards mochin the gadlut, the big mind, the allness, the greatness, the unity consciousness. I'm turning towards that. And I'm aiming my energy towards that. And it opens up that inner space. And something inside me then comes down. So let's try this practice of calming the restless heart. I like to remember that what St. Augustine says, that my heart is restless till it rests in you. That there is this way of turning towards God as a way of calming the restless heart. Ach Ayl-Elohim, dumiyah nafshi. 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 nafshi So keep your eyes closed. Bring your attention to the breath. Breathe into the heart. And imagine you're just kind of looking around with this curiosity of like, oh, what's this? What is this state I find myself in? What color? What texture? Noticing the rhythm of your breath, and the feelings in the body, and the sense of the space around you. So after every practice I do, I want to stop and say, oh, what's this? Where has this brought me? What is this state that I'm in? And what's possible from here? Really, what are the creative possibilities? What wants to emerge through me? What are the perceptive possibilities? What does the world look like from here? And what I want to develop is a kind of like a grand repertoire of states of consciousness and awareness of those states. And the more awareness you bring, the more you create the pathway to access that state. And when we were on retreat last week, we got to, on Shabbat morning, some of us chanted a chant for an hour and a half before breakfast, and then we found ourselves in an extraordinary state, and it's not a kind of a state I would want to drive a car from. But something else is possible, and possibly in that state, which felt very spacious, we might get a different perspective on a problem that we're carrying. So sometimes what I'll do in my practice is that if I'm having some difficulty, I say, I'm going to put this on the altar of the chant, because from where I am, I can't figure this out. And then I'll do a practice, and after the practice, I'll come back to what's on the altar, and I'll see it differently. I'll see possibilities that I hadn't seen before, and so it feels like such important work, especially in what chant were we doing? We were doing a mah-na'avod chant that we did. But it feels really like important in this time when the news has me in this place of like going to outrage. Really, it's like not a state I want to live in. I want to be able to notice it, release it, and come to some place that's a little more spacious. I want to share this teaching from Swami Dayangitan. He says, he, maybe she, I'm not sure. Life is really very simple. In each moment, we have the opportunity to choose between saying yes or no, to listen to our intuition, to listen to our true inner voice, the existential voice within ourselves. When we say yes, we have contact with existence, and we receive nourishment, love, joy, support, and inspiration. When we say no, we create a separation from life and begin to create dreams and expectations of how it should be. We begin to live in the memories of the past and in the fantasies of the future, as if any other time than here and now really can make us happy and satisfied. So this present moment really, kind of holds the key to entering into that state of yes. So we're saying yes to this moment, and when we do that, as we have contact with existence, we receive nourishment, love, joy, support, and inspiration for whatever challenges we need to face. So that's why, like that place when I read the news and I say, no, I'm actually cutting myself off from my inspiration. And so I want to find my way to yes. And in order to do that, I have to create a little space. So I found this next practice I want to do. I call it Into Spaciousness in Psalm 18, and it says, it's not only me that's trying to get into that spacious place. Is that I'm being freed from my constriction by this great loving mystery that is calling me into the breadth of my being, calling me into my fullness. So I want to listen to that voice that is calling me into spaciousness. So God brought me into spaciousness, and this is the same verb of like motzi lechem min haaretz, the bread from the earth. God is bringing me out from my small place into the great expanse of my being, and freeing me. And I say to God, well, why are you doing this wonderful thing for me? And God is saying, because I love you so much. I just don't want you to suffer inside that little brain of yours, you know.
Yeah, because we do.
So this we sang this on retreat last week. It was really fun, and I think some of the people ended up turning it into like a march. You know, we're marching into spaciousness, really. You know? But we can do it a little more delicately than that. So let's try that. V'hotzieni lamecha yachaletzeni ki kafetz yadi. V'hotzieni lamecha yachaletzeni ki kafetz bi. Hotzieni yamecha yechaletzeni kechafetz bi. Yotzieni yamecha yechaletzeni kechafetz bi. Yotzieni lamecha yechaletzeni ki kafetz bi. Vayotzieni 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 lamecha
יחלצני כי כפית בי ויוציאני למרחב 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 יחלצני כי כפית בי.
And in the silence, keep your eyes closed. As you breathe in, feel that invitation to spaciousness. Really being invited into the fullness of our being. We got stuck in a little corner. So we're being kind of invited out into the fullness of our being. To merge with the oneness, to touch the all. So in doing that, we release some of our small places of doubt and cynicism and despair. And we got to do that every day.
Maybe even more than once a day.
Maybe even more than once a day.
Yeah, the way things are.
And to also find people to do it with. I think it's so important,
that's the best.
So just seeing your faces, and imagining your voices. So the I think it's the key feels like one of the keys to working with difficult mind states has to do with cultivating an ease with the state of not knowing. And it's like that's not, and it's a that place of uncertainty. I somehow I found this other quote by Voltaire that says, "Doubt is not a pleasant condition, but certainty is absurd."
That's good. Good old Voltaire.
But then there was that line in the movie Conclave, and Ariel, you just sent it to me. But do you have it? Do you have it?
There's two Ariels.
Oh, this is the Ariel Hendelman.
Yeah, give me like 10 seconds.
Yeah. So there was a speech that was given in the movie Conclave about certainty, about faith, about doubt, and this kind of like the idea of what does it mean to live with uncertainty, and so in the movie, they're choosing a pope, and the person who's running the conclave gives this speech before the the voting happens, and in that speech,
I've got it.
he says,
If there was only certainty and no doubt, there would be no mystery and therefore no faith.
right. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Well said.
Does it? Yeah. And so Eckhart Tolle has a different way of saying this that I love also. He says, become at ease with the state of not knowing. This takes you beyond mind, because the mind is always trying to conclude and interpret. It is afraid of not knowing. So when you can be at ease with not knowing, you have already gone beyond the mind. A deeper knowing that is non-conceptual then arises out of that state. So this deeper knowing that comes out of the state of not knowing. And there's so many times like that, I guess people come to me and they want me to say something hopeful to them, like it's going to be all right, it's going to be this way, I'm going to get what I need, whatever. And it's, I think what I tend to do is say, lean into the mystery, become at ease with not knowing. And not knowing, so there are these two different pathways of not knowing. One pathway goes straight to anxiety, and the other pathway goes to the mystery. And when I go to the mystery, I'm also going to this place of awe and wonder. And I think ultimately trust in not knowing, that I'm going to give myself to that mystery. So there is a line in the book of Exodus that is it in this week's parsha? Or that might be next week's parsha. Sometime very soon.
It was last week's.
It was last
Oh, last
week?
week's.
All right, all right.
I
We're
think
still
so.
we're still in the glow of it. So so there's a little negotiation going on between Moses and Pharaoh, and Moses is trying to make a deal, to go out and worship in the wilderness, and Pharaoh is saying, okay, go, but you're not allowed to bring, anything with you, and and that's not going to be okay with Moses, and he says this line, which then has sort of like morphed into like this wonderful pathway of mystery. It says, we don't know how we will serve YHVH until we get there. And that's every moment, we are on that journey, and we never quite get there, but we don't know how we will serve. And so there is this kind of like birth of trust in us that we'll have what we need when we get there, but we don't know what that is just yet. And I find this so true of, just because I just came off teaching a retreat, that when I'm teaching a retreat, like I kind of have a plan. I kind of have lots of things up my sleeves, but I don't know until we get there.
What's really
what's
going to
the
come
right?
out?
What's the right thing to do? What's the right thing to happen? And so I have to stay in that not knowing in order to be connected to spontaneity, to possibility. And I love that. I love being there.
Aries. That's a wonderful, wonderful Aries
You
quality.
think so?
Spontaneity.
Spontaneity.
Burst into fire. Woo. It's great.
But if I stick to my plan, I don't make any room for that, for spirit to come through. So I want to chant these words and enter into that place of not knowing, but not the anxious not knowing, the not knowing that allows the spirit to rise up in us.
Lo-nayda, mah-na'avod, et-Yah, shama. 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 Lo-nayda, mah-na'avod, et-Yah, ad-boenu 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 shama.
Become at ease with the state of not knowing, opening to the mystery. And when we find just a moment of ease in that place of not knowing, we want to take a little picture of it. You want to remember it. You want to feel what that feels like. Because in those difficult mind states of anxiety, we want to be able to find our way back to this possibility of ease in uncertainty. So,
Very nice.
I invite you all to take a look around the KZOOM room and give a nod of thanks, of blessing to everyone that's here. So grateful to have this time of practice together. It's not the same as being together in person, but it's still good. It's still
Pretty
something.
good.
It's still something.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's something. So, so before I stop the recording, I'll just say, come to the website. There's always new practices there all the time now, and also retreats that you might want to sign up for. I know that Jenny's already signed up for the August retreat.
Yay, Jenny.
Yay. Where are you, Jenny? Where are you, Jenny?
She was here.
There she is.
Oh, there you are. Yay.
Jenny.
Hold that anchor.
Yes. We're looking forward to seeing you. There's a retreat on devotional healing next August in Minnesota, and and there's the Aleph Kala, all kinds of wonderful opportunities. And I think there might be still room in Connecticut to come to the retreat that's happening in a couple of weeks in
Jeffa,
Yeah.
Dan is coming.
Oh my God.
Yes. He got it yesterday, so we worked it out